Hello and welcome to Smartling. This video will help you navigate through your Smartling dashboard as a project manager or account owner in our Enterprise Edition. Smartling is a cloud-based translation management platform that will allow you to automate and optimize your translation process. You can log into your Smartling portal anytime directly from your browser at dashboard.smartling.com without having to install or download any software. You might want to bookmark the Smartling URL if you would like to proactively check your dashboard. Whenever you need to take some action, we will also send you an automated email notification with a direct link to your Smartling dashboard. To ensure that your notifications are set up correctly, please click into your profile section from the drop-down menu next to your name. Please scroll down to your global notification preferences and check that this toggle is switched on. In the Separate Notifications tab, you can also select the exact type of notifications that you would like to receive for each project and specify how often you want to be notified. Now let's go back to our home screen by clicking on the Smartling logo. Your Smartling home screen is showing your account dashboard, which lists out all of the projects that you have access to. In Smartling, projects can be thought of as folders that certain content types will be uploaded to. Within each of these projects or folders, you will then be able to create the actual translation tasks that we call jobs. These are the tasks that your translators will be working on, and they usually have a due date or deadline. To make the translation process easier and more efficient, our system will automatically break down the content into smaller units that we call strings. In most cases, a string will correspond to a line of text, a paragraph, or a sentence to translate. To be considered completed, your content will need to go through a certain set of steps that we call a workflow. There will always be a translation step in a workflow, but you could also add multiple other steps, like a proofreading step, or a step for your internal team members to review the translations. In your Smartling dashboard, you will find your account level settings and resources listed in your top navigation bar. From the Projects drop-down menu, you can easily navigate between all projects or folders that you have access to. This will take you to a more granular view of the content and settings in that specific project. Let's start our tour by clicking into one of the projects that we have access to. When you access one of your projects, you will see a summary page that will give you an intuitive overview of the translation activity at one glance. Next to the project name, you will see a tile that indicates the project type. Smartling offers a wide range of integration options that allow you to connect your translation project directly to your website, your content management system, your code repository, or your design tools to help speed up and automate the translation process. This gray tile will let you know if files are uploaded for translation or if a direct integration with your content management system or your website is used for this project. Once you are familiar with the project type, you can use the summary page to get a quick snapshot of the translation activity and easily identify any areas that you might need to take action on without having to click through your entire Smartling dashboard. If you need a more detailed view of any areas mentioned here, you can make use of the other tabs listed in your project. In the Jobs tab, you can find all translation tasks for this project. If you are not sure which project a job is located in, or you prefer checking the translation tasks for all projects in one go, you can make use of the Jobs tab in your top navigation bar, which will show all jobs across all the projects that you have access to. In your Jobs tab, you will see jobs across all stages of the job lifecycle. In Smartling, when a new job gets created, It will then need to be authorized as a second step to kick off the actual translation process. The job status then changes from awaiting authorization to in progress. Once a job has been fully translated and has gone through all the workflow steps, it is considered completed and can be closed. Of course, if a job is no longer needed, you can also decide to cancel it. In your Jobs tab, you can get an overview of all jobs across all of these statuses. To locate specific jobs, you can narrow down your search by using the filtering options on the left side. You will now see the name of each job, as well as the name of your project. You can see the overall status of each job, as well as a color-coded progress bar. The total words will show the number of source words across all languages. The due date is the final deadline when all steps for this job should be completed. And lastly, you'll be able to see when the job was created. From the ellipsis menu, you will be able to rename, cancel, or close a job. For an even more detailed view, you can click on the name of the job that you'd like to check. This will open the job details page for you. Here, you can check which target languages and which files are part of your job. The color-coded progress bars give you an intuitive view of the status for each language and each file. In the Workflows tab, you can see the exact step that the content is currently sitting in for each language. To ensure the overall deadline for your job can be met, you can also set up specific task due dates for each of these steps. The History tab will allow you to check when the job was created and which actions were taken on it. For completed jobs, the Quality tab will offer some tools and suggestions that can help with translation quality. In the menu on the left side, you can access all strings that are part of this job to see the actual text to translate. Here, you will also be able to adjust the overall deadline for this job. The Estimate panel will show you the total source word count, as well as the weighted word count. Most language service providers will offer a discount if the content to translate is very similar or even identical to some text that has already been translated previously. For this reason, you often won't pay the full rate for the entire content in your job. The weighted word count will show an estimate of how many words you'll actually pay the full per word rate for. For a more thorough breakdown, you can click the View Details button. For each language, you can now see how much leverage you will get from previous translation jobs. In Smartling, all translations get saved to a so-called translation memory that allows your linguists to easily reuse previous translations. The higher the percentage listed in your estimate, the more similar the new content is to a matching translation that we already have on file in your translation memory, and the better your discount will normally be. If your vendor has provided you with their pricing rates, you will also be able to see a monetary cost estimate for your job. In Smartling, you will have several options of providing further context to your linguists to help them deliver great quality translations. On the bottom half of this job details page, you can check if any visual context or images have been uploaded, if any reference files have been attached to the job so they can be downloaded by the linguists, or if a description with further explanations has been added. If you would like to create a new translation job, the process may vary depending on the exact type of integration and upload option that you are using. If you are manually uploading files for translation, you can simply click the Request Translation button in your Jobs dashboard to drag and drop a file to translate. There will be a two-step process for kicking off a new job from this window. First, you will need to upload your file to create the job. Please note that some file types need to be prepared and formatted for the translation process before you can upload them. In our Help Center, you can find more information about each file type and the correct format to use. You will now be asked to enter the desired job name, any descriptions that can provide further context to the translators, as well as the required target languages. In a second step, you will now see a cost estimate and the expected due date. If you are happy to proceed, you will now be prompted to authorize the job. Only once a job has been authorized, the translation process will be kicked off and can begin. If you are unsure if the job can be kicked off, or if you would like to check the content first, you can simply click Save for later. You can go back to the saved job at any time from your jobs dashboard. Once your file has been fully translated and is completed, you will receive an email notification with a link that takes you directly to the completed file. You can download the completed document from here or from the Files tab in your job. If you are using one of our connectors, it is very important to create the translation job directly from the connector interface to avoid any issues with retrieving the completed translations. If your connector has a Smartling interface with the connector tab for the job creation listed in your project, you will see a list of all the translatable assets here. You can select one or more assets and create a translation job for them by clicking Request Translation from the Actions menu. If the job creation process for your connector is not hosted in Smartling, you will be able to create a new job directly from within your content management system. Once the translations have been completed, they will be sent back automatically to your content management system. In our Help Center, you will be able to find more information about the connector that you are using and all relevant settings. If you are using our global delivery network to automate the translation of your website, you can use the Pages tab in your project. Here, your website content will be grouped by URL. You can click the Capture Domain button to browse a pseudo-translated copy of your website and to navigate to the page that you want to translate. This will automatically upload the text from your web page to your Smartling project. This URL will now be available in your Pages tab, and you can create a translation job for it by selecting the option Request Translation from the Actions menu. Once the translations are ready, they will be displayed directly on your localized website. If you are using a different integration to upload new content and to retrieve translations, we would recommend visiting our Help Center or consulting with your Smartling Success Manager for further information. There are several ways of automating the job creation process to reduce your manual effort and to increase efficiency. Please feel free to reach out to your Smartling Success Manager, who will be able to advise on the best way of automating the job creation process for your project. Once there are some translation jobs in progress, the linguists working on your content might want to reach out if they have any questions or feedback. In Smartling, the Issues feature allows your linguists to communicate directly with you or with each other without having to leave the Smartling platform. We distinguish between two types of issues. Source issues allow your linguists to ask you questions about the text to translate. These queries will typically require your input and clarifications. Translation issues, on the other hand, can be used to provide feedback or comments about the translation quality and are typically opened by proofreaders or reviewers. By clicking the red flag symbol in your top navigation bar, you can access all unresolved issues for the projects that you have access to. To leave a response, you can simply click into the issue text and add a comment. The linguist working on this translation will now be notified automatically about your reply. Provided that your notifications are enabled, you will also receive an automated email when a new source issue gets submitted by one of your linguists, so you can respond directly from your inbox. As your team is uploading more and more text for translation, you might need to make use of our search options to find the exact content or translations that you are looking for. If you are unsure which project your content was uploaded to, you can click on the search icon from your top navigation bar to run a search across all strings in all projects that you have access to. To help locate your content quickly and efficiently, you can either run a keyword search or specify a wide range of search parameters on the left side. If you already know which project the content has been uploaded to, you can use the Strings tab in your project. This view will list out all strings that have been uploaded to your project across all languages, all jobs, all files, and all workflow steps. To locate specific strings, you will find a range of filtering options on the left-hand side. For example, you can filter for a specific status, one or more target languages, certain keywords, or files. Each string will be displayed for all of your target languages. If you prefer for each string to be shown only once, instead of listing out the details for each language, you can click the Show Source Language Only checkbox. You will see the source text on the left, any saved translations, the file or URL that the string is coming from, any visual context that might be available, for example from a screenshot or from a web page, the target language, the job that the string is a part of, and its status, including the exact workflow step that the string is currently sitting in. From the ellipsis menu, you can check all string details, any issues that may have been opened, and the string history, which will give you full visibility and show you when the content was uploaded and which actions were taken on it. From the same ellipsis menu on the right side, you can also access the CAT tool or Computer Assisted Translation tool, which is our translation interface. This can come in handy if you need to make a change to the translation for this string. Alternatively, you can also edit the translation by simply hovering over it and making the necessary updates. Once you have applied the desired filters in your string search, you will be able to take bulk actions on the selected content. You can manually select one or more strings, or click the checkbox on top to select all. You can simply click the button Select All Matching Current Filter to take action across all of the strings that match the filters that you've just applied. From the Actions menu, you will now be able to manage the selected content. For example, you can move the content to a new or existing job, send it to a different workflow step, exclude it from the translation process, add some context for your translators, or stop the ongoing translation process. Any actions listed in the middle segment are source-level actions and will affect all languages. For example, if you add a screenshot to a string, it will show up for the translators working on all languages. If you would like to upload visual context in bulk, you can make use of the next tab in your project. The Context tab will give you a holistic overview of all visual context that's available in your project. From here, you can also upload context files such as images, screenshots, or HTML files. Thanks to our optical character recognition, the uploaded context will automatically be paired with any matching strings in your project that don't have any previous context. The linguists working on your translations will see this visual context in a very prominent position in their Smartling interface. So this can help them make the right choice of words and deliver great quality translations. Next, let's click on the gear icon on the right-hand side. This is where you can find some settings that you'll probably need to access only occasionally. On the project details, you can get a quick overview of your project management team and the linguistic resources for this project. This is where you can check which linguistic package your project is using. A linguistic package is a bundle of configuration settings that will determine if and how previous translations should be reused, and what terminology and tone of voice should be applied in the translations. Here you can determine which translation memory your project will write to. All translations that will be saved by the translators working on your project will be stored here. In your leverage configuration settings, you can also select which translation memories your project will read from. This will allow you to reuse previous translations from one or more translation databases. Depending on your preferences, you could decide to skip one or more workflow steps for content that matches an existing translation that we already have on file in your translation memory. This is what we call a smart match. Smart matches can help you save on the translation cost and speed up the process. A linguistic package will also determine which glossary your linguists will use for their translations. A glossary is a list of terms that are important to your organization and that should use an approved translation for consistency. A style guide is a document that will guide your translators through the tone of voice that should be used. Last but not least, you can fine-tune the quality assurance checks that your linguists will see when they make any mistakes in their work. As these resources can be shared across several projects, you can access all linguistic assets also from your account settings. Here you can get a holistic overview of all of your linguistic packages and assets, so you can review or update them on a regular basis. Next, under the gear icon, the Project Settings tab will allow you to make changes to your project configuration. In the Languages menu, you can see the source language for your project, as well as a list of all target languages and their locale codes. This page will allow you to add a new language to your project or to remove existing languages if they are no longer needed. You can also check at one glance which default workflow is used for any given language and change it if needed. On this page, you can also quickly spot if there is a style guide available for all languages, so the translators for each language will know which tone of voice should be used. Next, on the project settings, you can see a Workflows tab. Here you can check and update all of your existing workflows or create a new one. You can use this page to make changes to the steps that your content needs to pass through in order to be considered fully translated. Smartling offers a very flexible workflow setup that can be tailored exactly to your needs. Each workflow will always need to have a translation step, but you can add and configure multiple additional steps according to your requirements. Please feel free to visit our Help Center or reach out to your Smartling Success Manager for further information and recommendations regarding the best workflow setup for your organization. Once your workflow is set up, you might need to add some people who will work on your content. In the Team tab, under your account settings, you can add new members to your Smartling team and manage the accounts and permissions of your existing team members. You can access both the Smartling profiles for your translation agencies and the profiles for your individual linguists and team members. Smartling is a permission-based platform. This means that there will be a two-step process to adding new team members. First, you will need to select their user role based on the tasks that they will need to carry out in Smartling and enter their email address. Then, in a second step, you will need to give them access to a project or to a step in your workflow. Your new team member will now receive an email invitation from Smartling, and they can set up their Smartling account free of charge. Last but not least, Smartling offers a wide range of robust reporting options that will help you track and analyze your translation activity, quality, volumes, and speed. You can access your reports directly from the top navigation bar. If you have any questions or require any assistance, you can reach our support team directly from the Help tab by clicking Contact Support. For more information about any of the features in your Smartling dashboard, we would recommend taking a look at our Help Center, where you can find valuable information to help you get started. Thank you very much for your time today. We are looking forward to welcoming you back in Smartling very soon.